Hello, for this tutorial I will be demonstrating how to make some changes to your gradient fill. And as I demonstrated in an earlier tutorial and in class, we have our gradient fill tool right here. G is the shortcut. And if I look up here in this window right here, I can see the colors that are being used in this palette to create my gradient. So if I come in here and I drag from the top left to the bottom right, I get a nice change in color from the left to the right, and as you can see, it's creating rings because I'm using the radial gradient. Now if I wanted to do something a little bit different than this, if I wanted to use some other colors, I can do that. It's very easy, and I can come up here and click on this arrow and I can choose from any of these number of preset color combinations. So if I wanted to use this green and yellow combination, I clicked on that and came out here and dragged from here to here, and I would get this change from blue to yellow, and it would go through the greens. And again, I could come and choose another one. I could get this one that has these blues and reds and whites and come across and make that pattern. Now I'm not limited though, however, to what is inside of this box right here. So right here I have 13 different choices, but if I come and click on this arrow right here, I am now given another drop down box, and if I come down to the bottom, I have 9 more different choices. 9 more different choices. That made no sense. But anyway, I have 9 different choices here, and if I were to click on noise samples, for example, it's going to ask me, do you want to change or replace these current gradients with the new ones? I would say okay. And now I have these selections, so I could click on, let's say, these greens and go from the center and outside, and now I have this. And again, I could come in here and I could click on this arrow and I could say, well, let me try something a little bit different. I could click on neutral density and say, okay, I want to change that. And now you can see here has a bunch of transparent type of filters, and for what I'm going to do next, that really doesn't meet what I want to do. So I'm going to go back to color harmonies and say okay, and I'm going to just choose this one right here and fill that. So there we go. So we go from this orange to this yellow, and that's kind of a cool look, especially if that's where I'm starting my image from. Now if, however, I'm trying to match my background to an image I already have, or I'm trying to create layers. So for example, let's say I want to use this car that I've already selected here, and I'm going to use my move tool and drag it up here, and I'm going to put it into this picture. Now you see it's massively enormous because I have a very large image, and so I'm going to shrink this down so it fits inside of here. So don't worry, this isn't necessarily part of this tutorial. And I'm going to make sure that these are the same because I want it to be proportionate to the original. And so I'm going to click on the check mark, okay, we're good to go. And I'm going to zoom back out so I can look at this again. So there we go. We have this nice car with this orange and yellow background. But I want to match the background to the color of my car. And so I can do this by coming into gradient and making sure that I'm on the correct layer. So if I come over here, right now I'm on the layer that has the car. I want to be on the layer that has the gradient, which is underneath. And if I click on this one time, it's going to open up this box here that is the gradient editor. And this is where I'm going to do a lot of different things. The magic can happen. If I click inside of this little paint bucket or this little arrow, and I click in there, it's going to open up this, and it's going to show me what color is being used. And if I come over onto my canvas now, you can see that it turns into a little dropper. And so now I can start selecting colors from my car. So I'm going to click this gray, and you can see that now that turns to a gray. And I can click on this next one, and I can come over here and I'm going to click on this side mirror because there's kind of a white color in there, and that's going to turn to white. And I can click in this one and maybe get a different darker gray that is down here. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click on the tire and get kind of a black color. And then the red, I'm going to come over here and click on another grayish color. And now if I say OK, you'll see now that this gradient has now changed to the colors that I just created. So now if I come in here and I create a gradient, it's now using colors that match the color of my car, which is kind of nice. So now let's say that I don't necessarily like how these colors are being combined. I can always come back in here and click on this, and I'm now free, if I would like, to change these and slide these, which is going to, maybe I want more gray and I want a little less white, so I could squeeze the white out a little bit. And maybe I want less black, so I'm going to squeeze the black in here and give more gray. Or let's say I just don't like the white over here. I want the white over here instead. I can grab this white and slide it over here and add it down to this end. And so there's lots of different choices that I can do inside here. And so if I say OK now and I put in a new gradient, it's now going to match what I had just done. Now remember, that was steep because that line was short. So if I want to make it longer and make it more gradual, I can do that. So now you can see that my gradient actually matches the colors that are being used in my image that is on top of the gradient, which gives it a nice effect. It makes it kind of blend together a little bit better. It's more cohesive. So that is how to make changes to your gradient fill. Not only change the palettes that you're choosing from, but actually going into it and using the gradient editor to make a few changes in there as well. So, as always, if you have any questions, feel free to email me or ask. Thanks.